Me and my wife went on a trip to Portland over the weekend for her birthday, and it didn't go as expected. And I learned quite a few things about myself. Had some humble pie. Let's talk about it. What's up, viewer? Welcome to Iron Sharpens Iron, where every week we have Christ-like conversations to help you in that contractor to stay sharp out there. So, like I said, me and my wife, we went to Portland. I wanted to surprise her. Spoiler alert, this video might be pretty long. I'm gonna be kind of telling you a long-winded story, but there's nuggets in there. There's things that I learned throughout this story that helps me on how to be a better husband. A little bit of context, my wife's birthday is coming up, but because work, all this stuff that, kind of got in the way, we went out to Portland to celebrate it a week early, if that makes sense. And we drive out there. It's a little bit of a drive from where we stay in Washington, but it's crazy because if you look at the previous video where I talked about, the struggles of juggling, hey, I'm a good husband, or I'm a bad father, or I'm a good, son, a bad uncle, all those fill in the blank scenarios. And throughout that video, there was like a few moments where if you're paying attention to how I'm saying it, I probably came off as a little bit arrogant or a little bit, I can't think of the exact word, but I made it seem like I was sweet. Like, I was real sweet with, being a husband. Like, I'm just the best husband in the world. Give me a crown, like dun 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 dun. Nobody's better than me. But like I said, through this weekend, through this journey, I realized, okay, I got some things I can work on. Thank you, Holy Spirit. It was a hard pill to swallow. So boom, we're driving there. So me and my wife had this conversation maybe 2 months prior to her birthday, to where it was like, okay, hey, all right, we both know we're going to Portland. It's for your birthday. It's an expectation for me to plan it, or do you want to plan it? And I knew this was going to come up at some point. I was like, should she plan it or should I plan it? And, just pay for everything. But I was like, no, I should plan it. So yeah, I should plan it. If I plan it, then, hey, my husband, he did this for me. All right, yeah. Get the hand claps. Only for my wife, though. I ain't trying to get hand claps from everybody else. But, that was my thought, my intention. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll plan it. I'll do this, do that. We're going to have a good old time. She's going to be, yeah, we're going to be good. So I'm like, all right, I'm planning it. I did this and did that. So we only had a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We both had to work on Friday, and it's about a 3.5, 4 hour drive to get from where we are to Portland. So by the time we get to Portland, we already know it's going to be 9, 10 o'clock, depending on what time we leave. So Friday is done. It's over with. At best, we can have dinner, but it's gonna be too late. So then we have all day Saturday and we have Sunday, but I don't know about you guys. When I plan, when I travel, when I go somewhere, if I gotta go to work the next day, I'm not trying to come back late the night before. I wanna come back a little bit early so I can prep, get my, all this stuff in order, relax a little bit. So with this being said, I planned, all right, boom, we're gonna drive. We'll get there. I'm driving, by the way. Ain't gonna make her drive on her birthday trip. We ain't gonna do that. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll drive. Yeah, she'll like that. Then we get there. Saturday, boom, underground donut tour.
So here is the sesame donut to start for your first sample. This one is cake dough with toasted sesame seeds stuck on with honey. And this one's inspired by a Lebanese dessert called barazi. Sesame Donuts is a family-owned donut chain owned by a Lebanese family. They've been around for over 30 years now, so they're Portland's oldest donut chain. Does he want one too?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm assuming this is like one of their signature ones since they're called Sesame Donut.
Yeah, this one's super special to them. It's one of their top sellers too. The first time I saw it, I was like, all right, that's different. I honestly thought it looked like kind of boring, but then I tried it and I was like, this is a solid donut.
Excellent. Don't you rate it, girl?
And also we have this next flavor, which is called the Rose City. This one's vanilla icing on a yeast raised donut. And it's got a little bit of rose water infused in the icing. Portland's the city of the rose. We have the ideal climate.
Man, right.
Oh, I love, fun fact about me, I love an iced donut.
Thank you, second.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Ooh, let's see.
Cool.
I can taste the rose water.
Relax.
Like it.
Yeah, the rose pear is pretty cool. Vanilla.
Okay, yeah.
Not rose water.
Wait, 3.5.
Jelly on that one. Okay. All right. I think this might be a 4 for me. Got the little hey.
Oh wow.
Wow, that's right.
They got me. Yeah, frosting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. How many places we going to?
3 more after this. The walks in between help burn it off too. Work the appetite back up.
Good point, good point.
And like I said, if you guys need a bag or a box of any of the stops, like grab you one.
What are we doing with those?
Well, these ones, I mean, you guys could eat now, or I could grab some
Let me get those boxes.
bags right now.
Yeah, let me just get those boxes going.
I'm not done. I got some bags here. I can grab a box too if you, if anyone would prefer a box over a bag.
Bag will work.
My husband.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna grab you some.
Is there one you want? I'm gonna just take one of that jelly.
Not him talking to tour guide into giving him this tray.
Why not share it? Does anybody else want these? Yeah. I just took one of the jelly ones. That jelly one. It's like a 4.8.
I'm gonna give it like a 2.
She doesn't like jelly.
Yeah.
Apparently Portland is known for donuts, and they just have a lot of good donuts in the different qualities and all the crazy toppings and stuff that they put on their donuts. So I booked this underground donut tour.
Anyone else need one? Yeah, we got Russians back there.
Yo,
The tahini one? Yeah, that's the tahini one.
Oh wow. Okay. That's good.
stop playing.
That's really good.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that lion's meat one's great.
Yeah. Like it's jumping off. That's good right there.
Not jumping off.
Oh.
Have you guys had ube before too?
Ube, I don't know who that is. It was actually pretty cool. That was fun. We had a good time. Had some technical difficulties with this camera because we tried to record some of it, so it was like one of the places we couldn't get to. So this camera has been giving me all types of issues, but that is a sidebar story. But we had a great time. This was actually, really fun. We did this, but this was about 2 hours of our day. So my original plan was the underground donut tour. That's Saturday. Boom, we're gonna knock that out, have a grand old time. And then I planned for us to have a dinner on a boat, kind of like a little cruise, small little yacht. It was a pretty cool experience. I'm actually used to being on boats, being on ships. So it wasn't anything too, I guess, like amazing for me because I've been on, just being in the Navy. I'm on ships all the time. But I thought it was something cool that we could do. It wasn't necessarily just like the two of us. There was a lot of other people there, but it was still really cool. We had a good time, had some good food. We're cruising and, all romantic, all the good stuff. The vibes are going, having fun. But that was scheduled for 7 o'clock at night. So we got this event that happened at like 9 o'clock in the morning, end at 11:30, noon at the latest. And then we had something that happened at 7. So I'm not, my math might not be mathing right now, but there's probably a good 6, maybe 7 hours or so that was in between. And the only thing else that I had planned was shop at the mall. Well, actually, let me go back. I actually had a plan for us to go to the original Nike store, which I guess is founded or whatever in Oregon. And turns out that you need a employee pass to even get in there. And that's not something I did my research on. So I planned, long story short, I planned some things for us to do, but I didn't put all the extra research into finding out what it takes, what is required to do all of these things. And then I also had this big old nasty 6-hour gap in between the day. So it's like, what are we doing? And one thing I learned about my wife a while back, which I don't know why I didn't consider this, is she likes to know, I guess, like everything. Just with how she is, her personality, working in news and journalism and doing all this stuff, if we're doing something and she doesn't know what's happening, as far as like, she kind of needs an itinerary. Like, she's one of those people, which is not a bad thing. I like to know what I'm doing too, but I think for her, it's like, hey, all right, we're doing this, followed by this, followed by this. Like, you know, she wants to be prepared to know like all the things that she needs so that she can prepare herself to, you know, pack everything accordingly. Oh, another thing, when we went on the donut tour, the underground donut tour, I didn't look at the fine print in the research, not the research, but I didn't look at the fine print to where they said it was a walking tour. So here she is, you know, wearing sandals, flip-flops, and we're walking, you know, for 2 hours pretty much, walking around 2 hours. So then it's like, you didn't tell me it was, and I'm like, whoops, you know, I got no tennis shoes, that's all I wear, I just wear sneakers. So it's like, to me that didn't matter, but it's like, I'm not considering, you know, that part. So I was like, ugh. That was kind of like strike one. And then, you know, we get to strike two, which is like, what are we doing with the rest of our day? We can go to the mall. Then it's like, all right. But then, you know, I didn't really, you know, put in more thought and effort into where exactly do we go. And one thing, Portland, y'all parking downtown, let's talk about it. What is going on? Like, it is, I don't know if, and whoever you are, I don't know if you've ever been to Portland, but the parking downtown is just, it's atrocious. It's awful. I've been to downtown a few places, Seattle, Texas there, but man, there's something about that Portland stuff. I'm like, all these one ways, I pull into an area and it's like, nope, this is where the bus is coming, this is where the train is coming, you gotta be on the left side. It was just so much going on. You have to pay for parking everywhere. There's like, if you're not in the, you know, the window where it's free, but then everybody else knows it's free, they live there, so it's like hard to find a spot. It was just, so it was a lot of like driving around. Oh, nope, I literally went down a one-way street at least 2 times. Where she's like, you can't go that way, what are you doing? And I'm like, whoops. So it was a lot of stuff like that. On top of, again, me not necessarily putting in the extra effort to do all the other research to make sure that, you know, she had everything she needed on her end. Not looking into, whoops, you need an employee pass to go to this Nike store. Whoop, can't go there. There's, you know, that's something that I planned, but I didn't really plan. So we weren't able to do that. Oh yeah, we got this donut tour, but it's a walking tour. So then, you know, now she's not wearing the right footwear. So now she's getting blisters on her feet. And again, this is supposed to be for her birthday. So it's like, all right, it's like, and my wife, she doesn't cry often, but I guess you say the fastest way for me to see her cry, or for somebody to see that, is when she gets flustered, because, you know, there's so much going on, kind of like being overwhelmed, which I can definitely, you know, I see where it comes from. Like, if there's so much happening, there's a lot of things going on at once, and she is just overwhelmed and flustered with what's happening, you know, a tear or two may come out. So it was a lot happening, but then also not a lot of stuff happening. Walking around is hot. Again, don't have on the proper footwear. We got to park at certain places, because then the parking lot is over here. The parking garage is here, but then where we're trying to get to is over here. We also, I don't know if there was another place we were trying to go to, but once we get there, it's actually closed off. It's private property. You can't even get there. So then it was like, this is something that's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go there, but then you get there and you can't get there. So, you know, hopes are like, oh, we're gonna get there, we're gonna do it. Oh, we can't do it. Why, you didn't know it was private property? You can't get on there. So if you would have seen the video before this, I came off, even as I'm like watching the back, I'm like, I think my stuff don't stink. Which, again, learning lesson. So here is where I realized that just because you think, you got all your eggs in the basket, you might want to strain no holes in that basket. Some of the eggs you putting in there, they dropping out. And to make that kind of make sense, being humble, it will take you a long way. And in a marriage, again, me being the husband, me being the leader, the provider, the protector, all these things, it definitely puts me in a different state when I'm realizing, okay, my wife, not necessarily is being taken care of. Not to say that she had an awful time or awful experience, but I can tell like this put her in, this put her in a mood where it's like, she's upset. She's, frustrated. There's another thing where, she felt that, for the day to be better, because I'm telling her kind of like last minute, well, we got all these hours with nothing to do. Then it's something that she has to try to, let me try to find, somewhere to go, something to do this. So it's not like us just sitting in the hotel, I guess for 5 hours, 6 hours. But then, that didn't turn out like, so there's a lot of things that just fell through. There's a lot of baskets with holes in there. So all the eggs we put in, they fell out. Now on Sunday, went to a restaurant, did good there, planned ahead, got there early, ate at this wonderful place called the Screen Door. Man, viewer, I don't know if you ever go to Portland, if you can get around all the traffic and the driving downtown and that stuff, but the Screen Door, shout out to these people. This food was delicious. We had a great time there. I would love, if I ever went back, I don't think I'm gonna go back, but if I ever went back, I would definitely eat there again. We went there and then we went to this we went to a Japanese garden, but then also the same thing with that. So there was something interesting that happened as we went to the Japanese garden. So we get there and then again, same thing with the parking. Oh my goodness. Parking is just it's terrible. It's just basura. The parking is no bueno. So the boom, here's the Japanese garden, and then it's like we're driving up. It's a one way, so it's like, dang, you got to keep driving because all these parking lots are already filled. All this, street parking parallel. If you don't know how to parallel park, you ain't gonna make it there. So we're driving, still going down, and it ends up being like this windy road, and there's cars everywhere. So then it's like, oh, I see the first available free parking spot. So I'm like, all right. Obviously, I still got to pay for it. It's not free, but ain't nobody there. So I'm like, okay, let me get in there. Boom, we got the spot. So then my instinct was, okay, I'm the type of person, I like to go where I know where I'm going, if that makes sense. So I drove past the Japanese garden, and I'm going this way, and I'm like, okay, I parked over here. My instinct is to turn around and walk back the way I came, because I know if I just follow this little windy road, I'm gonna get back to the little tea garden. And I keep saying tea garden. I'm gonna get back to the garden. But my wife was like, why don't we just keep going straight and then we can, wrap our way back around. And I'm like, why would I do that? Like, it just makes more sense for me to go this way. And this is where a valuable lesson, I guess, something a wise man told me before of how, if you're a husband, you're arguing or having a disagreement, a spirited debate with your spouse, with your wife, I forget how you worded it, but it was along the lines of like, you only win if you let her win or something like that. And what he meant by it is, okay, if I'm saying we should do this, she's saying we should do that, it may be better, of course, common sense, whatever the scenario is, use your judgment, Holy Spirit activate. But it would probably be better if you go with her option, and two things are gonna happen. Obviously, she's gonna be wrong or she's gonna be right. If she's right, hey baby, you was right, I was wrong. Not necessarily just, I'm a dumb man, because we ain't trying to do all of that. Come on now. But it's, you go with what she's saying, and if she's right, dang, you admit your faults. Hey, I was wrong. I thought, it would have been better if we did this, or if we went here, or if this happened. Or say she is wrong, but you trusted in her perspective, you trusted in her advice, and it shows her that it's not, it shows her that, one, you trust her, you value her opinion, and that you're not, just gonna just always do what you want to do. Like, again, it's a marriage, it's a partnership, it's you leading, but you can also, again, take what she's saying. into account. It's not just, oh no, we're always gonna do what I want to do because I'm the man. Or always gonna do what I want to do because, you know, I'm the husband. So it's, you know, it's not like that. It's, oh, okay, you think this is the better option? And most of the time, you know, she's right with stuff like this. So I was like, you know what? I ain't even finna go back and forth. I can, you know how you can tell when an argument is coming or like a spirited debate? We don't argue often, but I can tell like, nah, I ain't even finna. All right, this is where you, so we'll walk that way. So we're walking that way. And I know, I'm like, it's gonna be easier to go back the other way. Or we're gonna get there faster. So we start walking and then we realize like, all right, this don't look like this is it. So then I just waited for her to be like, okay, all right, we can turn the other way. And I'm like, all right, yeah, the GPS, yeah, this ain't going the other way. Oh, okay, you know, I was right. But, you know, again, don't rub it in her face. Like, cause there's definitely times where I'm wrong. And again, as we're continuing to go and we're walking back to get to this Japanese garden, we go back the other way, and then it hit me again with the, dang, she ain't got on the right shoes, which, babe, if you're watching this, just wear sneakers. Just whenever we going somewhere. I try to get her to stop wearing sandals. She loves wearing flip-flops and sandals and all that, but it's just not always appropriate. It's just, anywho, we're going up, we're walking back, but then it's like, all right, now I got these, you know, I ain't got all the proper footwear, and I got to walk to and fro because we're thinking, you know, I guess first world problems. Oh, I'm just gonna drive up. This is the place I'm going into. I'm gonna park right here and just walk right in, but that wasn't the case.
So another thing that I think about from time to time is how I really get humbled in moments where I think I know where I'm going, like literally, like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to turn left or turn right here, or yes, this is supposed to happen. And my beautiful wife is like, no, actually, you're going the wrong way. Oh, you're supposed to turn left or turn right. We both kind of do this back and forth, but it's, man, I don't know what it is about correction sometimes. I don't know if it's just because it's my wife, maybe because it's a woman. I don't know. Just being honest. Which I usually I like to think I don't have a problem with being corrected, but there are moments and I'm like, I don't know. I think I know what I'm doing. I got this. Sometimes I am right, and I'm like, but obviously I can't say that 'cause that's not tasteful. But then there's moments where I literally, like, we're driving, right? I'm trying to find parking. I'm going down this steep climb. Left my chapstick in the car, so going back to grab it real quick before we go to the Japanese garden. Not tea garden, Japanese garden. But, like, we're trying to find a parking spot. And as we're driving, and I'm like, okay, where do I go? It's like, well, I think I can go right here, but then she's like, no, you can't park right there. Like, read this sign. It says it right here. Or it's like, oh, keep going this way. And there's moments where it's like I'm like, I would have figured it out if you wasn't here. Like, I can do it, macho man. And, like, again, the Holy Spirit is like, come on now. That's why she's a help me. Come on, help me for a reason. I'm supposed to help you. You think you know what you're doing? Come on now, be humble. Don't be prideful. And there's, you know, those moments where I'm like, dang, maybe she really did just save my life, or she, you know, helped me not get a ticket, or, you know, things like that. But then again, there's a part of me that wants to say, nope, I would have figured it out by myself. Not necessarily, I don't need you. Yeah, I didn't go that way. I don't need you, but there's moments just like, okay. And I'm not 100% sure if she can tell all the time in person, like in real time, like if, okay, maybe he's annoyed by me correcting him, or if it even comes off that way at all. But sometimes it does to me. And, well, yeah, it comes off that way to me. This isn't every time that she's like looking out for me. Now, we're in the haberdashery. I parked right by the Tesla. That's how I know. Yeah, that's me right there. And it's like, oh, lesson learned. So there you go. Don't always have the mindset of, especially if you're a man, that you know everything, or a woman, you know everything. If you have a helpmeet, let your helpmeet help you. That's the moral of the story. I gotta get back to this rest of this And I get back to my wife. So we go to this Japanese garden.
Before we actually went into the garden, I had to pay for my ticket. So here's another prime example where my first thought, I'm cheap sometimes. My wife calls me Frugal Ferris. We actually might talk about that in another video. But the Frugal Ferris and me, I'm just looking at the meter and it's like, oh, $5 for 1 hour. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna pick, $5 for 1 hour. But she's like, no, we should probably, do like 3 hours, because you never know what's gonna happen. And I'm like, I wanted to be like, no, we'll be good with 1 hour. But then I was like, you know what? I can just kind of tell, no. All right, I'm listening to what she said. I'm gonna go, pay the extra $10, get the 3 hour joint, and then we get it. By the time we actually get to the actual Japanese garden, a little entrance, the people tell us, all right, the next group is at 11:30, which is 50 minutes from now. So yeah, just, go around, walk around. You can go to the rose garden and then just come back. So then I'm like, ooh, all right. I guess we got an hour to spend. And as soon as we walked away, one of the first things she said was, well, I'm glad you got the 3 hour. And I'm like, well, I'm glad I got the 3 hour too. I'm glad I listened to you, because I would have messed myself over, maybe got a ticket or I had to go back, pay again. So there's moments in the marriage where, being the husband, sometimes I struggle with, wanting to be right, or wanting, I want to say my viewpoint to be the absolute, but sometimes it's just, I think I'm right all the time, or my perspective is, I know this is how it should be. This is what we're gonna do. This is how we should do it. But then sometimes I'm not always right. And that's the reason, our Heavenly Father gives us a help me, because we're not always right. Our perspective isn't 100% always, the right way to go. And I'm grateful to even have someone that is able to see the things that I don't see, to pay attention and maybe have foresight where I don't have the foresight. Ultimately, what I learned from this experience, from this weekend, is one, I'm not as sweet as I think I am. I should, be more humble when it comes to me, in the perspective I have of, oh, I'm just the greatest husband in the world, because I'm really not. I've also only been married a year and a half at this point. So I have so much to learn, so much to grow. And, even though I'm doing a lot of things over here real good, I need to make sure I need to pay just as much attention to the things that matter to her instead of the things that just matter to me. Because in my head, oh, I paid for this, I paid for that, I put 1 or 2 things on the schedule, I'm the best husband ever, woo, 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 giving my hand claps. But then it's like, okay, yeah, you did that, but also, what about these other little details that really matter to her? And if you made it this far, thank you for spending time with your boy today, viewer. I appreciate you listening to my rant and me talk about my struggles as a husband. And, when I think I'm sweet, when I think I got everything covered and I'm like that, and it takes some humble pie every now and then for me to remember, okay, I still got some areas I can work in. Don't forget, you're too blessed to be stressed. Stay blessed by the best. Don't forget to pray for the rest. And until next time.